Hey everyone, this is Dave from wetflyswing.com, and today I'm going to show you how to tie a greenbutt skunk black, as it's can be known, but dark, whatever you want to call it. Just basically it's the greenbutt without the white wing, and this one has a couple little different variations, but I'll show you as I get into it. Some of the little features that are kind of cool about this one. So we're starting out with a Dairiki number 899 size 6, and we're just going to use some ultra thread size 70. This stuff is obviously the go-to stuff here. So we're just going to wrap back past the point and cut this off, and you can see right here, just there's the point, so just back a little bit and you can see where it hangs down, so it's kind of at the bend here. And we're just going to start with a little bit of chartreuse chenille. This is kind of smaller chenille. And we're just going to wrap a little tag, just 2 or 3 wraps is all it's going to take here. I'll just go 2 little wraps here to start off. And really overall, you know, on this fly, this is a size 6, but you could also tie these on size 8s. Even size 10s, you know, kind of sparse is kind of the go-to here. So the first thing we're going to pull off here is a little bit of guinea, and we're just going to take, just grab a guinea feather. We're just going to take some strands, pull off for the tail, and you can see here I've just got some from a hackle I was just using. Don't need a whole bunch of this stuff, just about like that. We're just going to take that and make the tail about, you can see, about a little bit longer than the distance from the point back to the back of the hook. I'm just going to tie that in, and the chenille helps to kind of lifts it up and gives it that little flare at the back. It's going to all sit down really nicely as we get into the rest of the fly. So we start there, and then we get a little bit of oval silver tinsel. Kind of old school stuff here. This stuff is just, you know, give it a little bit of ribbing. So we'll tie this on here. And then the next thing I'm going to use for the body, which I really love this stuff, is this black polar dub. And this stuff is super easy to dub with. Just take a nice clump, however much, and make a nice. You can see it's super easy. I'm not using a dubbing loop or anything. I just want to kind of quickly get this stuff on here. And as I wrap, I'm just going to start back here, and you can just see it's really easy to tie with, and wasn't even super tight. And then I'll put a little more on. Just gives it that little flash. We used to use a lot of, for black, you know, kind of old school, the yarns and stuff like that. But obviously the dubbing, stuff like this, gives a little bit more flash, which is cool. Just kind of make it somewhat uniform. It could be a little bit built up in front. You know, I guess that's where the dubbing loop would come in. You'd be able to flare it out a little more, but this works great. We're just going to do about 3 wraps on this one. Go up towards the front, just about like that. We'll secure that off. And this is kind of part of the fly tying challenge, the 30-day fly tying challenge that we have going. So if you're watching this in the future, you can just go to Instagram and type in fly tying challenge 30, and you should see some of the pics. This one will be there along with the other ones. And you can join. It's pretty. Go to the website, and you can find the link there. But I'm just going to get a little bit of black, and this doesn't have to be a ton. Again, we're going to keep it pretty sparse. I'm going to tie this guy on here. Then we're just going to make 2 or 3 wraps just to get it going, because we're going to put some other hackle along with it. This one's pretty thin, so I'm going to do another little turn here. Cut that off, and then we'll pull back. Just kind of doing this 45, which is always getting the wings to set back here. And again, on most of these flies, a lot of these flies, especially for summer steelhead, dark and sparse is kind of the way to go. So I'm going to take this feather as I'm going to add to it, and really what we're going to do is just tie in from the front and kind of pinch it and then palmer it back, and then we're going to rip off one of the sides the hackle's on as you're looking at it on the right side. Actually, either one would probably work, but I'll just show you it's kind of that side, so it's bent like that, and then we'll just tie this in. Make sure it sits concave, so it's bending over the back, back of the fly, so it when you wrap it, it sits really nicely. So now I'm just going to wrap these, and really this one's just pulled out there, so you got to tie it in, get it tight in again, get it tight in really tight here. Cut off some of this right here. Pull this off. I'm not going to use that. Pull off the fluff. So now we'll just wrap this around. You see it takes a little, that one pulled out too. So a little bit unstable. This just shows you again how it can be tough when wrapping these things, when you get a feather that's not cooperating, but that's part of the process, is making sure you kind of deal with it when something happens. But I'm not using a hackle pliers here. Just kind of doing this. Wrap that, and then as it comes around, we'll just wrap this up, tie it off right there. See, that's just kind of one wrap. It looks a little messy right now, but I'm going to pull it back, and that's going to be all part of the fly when you pull this back. Make it look really nice. Again, tie back over there, and you can see now it's got that 45 degree angle basically. Once you get that, you can see how that's going to sit down in the water like that. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of flash here. I'm going to add a little bit of crystal flash. This is just about, you can just go like 4, 5, or 6 strands. You know, this one's I think about 5 here, and put this on and let this sit back kind of towards the back, almost to the tail. I like to make these pretty long. Once you get that on, that gives you your little flash. You can see that. Then the final piece is really just putting on the calf tail, and I like to use black calf tail. I'm just going to cut off a little. Really, there's not much on this. I'll show you. Just see there. It's hard to estimate how much this is, but I'll kind of pull out, get the fluffs out of there, and I'll kind of even up things, pull out the longer ones. You don't need a whole lot of this. I don't know if you can tell how much this is, but it's not a heck of a lot. Pretty thin. Then put that on top. This is the old school hair wing. Get that on, and then cut that off, and then just a matter of finishing up your head. Get that finished up there. Do a whip finish. And there you go. And this is, when this sits in the water, it's going to kind of basically look like that, with that little green sticking out the back, which looks nice. So there you go. That's the green butt skunk dark with a little bit of flash, and that is a killer little pattern. And you know, thanks for stopping by and seeing this. Again, if you have a chance and the challenge is still going on, stop off and take a look. And you can find it at wetflyswing.com, and subscribe if you like this video. That would be super helpful. Thanks a lot, and we will see you soon.